you have one of the few chairs. If you see people all in the back here, actually, let's just do this. You guys want seats, or you just want to stand back there? Anybody? You're gonna stand? Okay. There's no drinks back there, you know that. They're like, if it sucks, we're out of here. If one of those startups sucks, I'm out of here. I want an exit route. That's what they're all about. So, San Diego Startup Week is our region's premier catalyst for innovation, creativity, entrepreneurialism. I imagine all of you have been at one of these tracks. There's been an incredible amount of tracks and talks, an incredible amount of knowledge that has been dropped on San Diego this week. And we want to give a big shout out to our sponsors. There's a bunch of logos. I don't have time to go through them all. You want to snap a photo, there's our logos. It's not possible without these folks. And so it's been a pretty amazing week. I also want to make sure I point out somebody who's not going to like this very much, but I have the mic and the stage. If you turn back behind me, Austin Newdecker, who's been working really hard to put this stuff together. Can you give him a round of applause as well? An amazing amount of work goes into this, and it's all not for profit, and it's all volunteer work. And so we're here simply to support the community and support what's happening here. 4 years ago, I was at Spring Thing with Flan, and I'm standing there, and usually it was just a bunch of us talking to each other. That was basically it. And I saw some new faces, so I went up and introduced myself. I said, I just moved here. And I went through all the normal things, like, oh, you moved here, oh, yeah, you wanted to, your family was down here, you moved back. Like, no. I said, well, you want to change the scenery, right? San Diego, it's beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful, but no, I'm not here for that. Oh, you moved here because you wanted to learn how to surf, right? No. You moved here because you heard about California burritos. Now that's a compelling reason to move to San Diego. No, what's that? You haven't had one yet? And they said, no, I moved here to start my business. I moved here because I'm a startup and I'm getting started, and I moved to San Diego because I heard this is the place to be. Whoa, I probably looked like an idiot, like the oh shit face, like really? And I've met so many people over the last few years that are doing exactly that. And so if you're new to this community, if this is your first, actually just raise your hand. This is your first San Diego Startup Week. Raise your hand. Amazing. Welcome to you. Yes, round of applause for you, absolutely. It's pretty incredible to see all those. I was at a talk on Monday, asked a similar question. How many of you are first-time founders? There were probably about 200 people there. 80% of the crowd was probably first-time founder. Incredible stuff, right? So San Diego's growing, it's doing well, and you're a part of it, so welcome to the community. Also want to talk a little bit about tech founders. So demo night this is our XIV. Can everyone do quick Roman numeral math? It's at 14, right? 14th demo night that we've run, pretty amazing. We try to do them once a quarter. So far, we've been good this year. Last year, not so much. And we open up applications to anybody who has something that they want to share. And we pick kind of 7 of what we think are really interesting and a mix. Like, you guys don't want to sit here and see 7 different social dating apps. I know that. So we try to mix it up, make sure that there's some unique stuff happening, and to show off the work that's being done. It's funny, I was talking to a lot of the founders before tonight, and most of them said, how many events have you been going to? What's been the highlight? And almost all of them admitted that they had been to like half of an event because they were 2 heads down in working, which is good. If you disappear in your cave, I did, it's okay. Your head's down working. Doesn't mean you've lost connection with the community. But just come back and show us what you've been doing, right? So San Diego Tech Founders, meetup.com, join us. It's the OG San Diego Startup Week, I think. And I'm Jeremiah Gardner. Please connect on Twitter. Love to meet you, number 1, which I'll do some tonight. And I'd love to hear about what you're working on, and if there's any way that I might be able to offer some advice, I'd be willing to do that and happy to do it. So what is this? Demo night 14. Please pull out your cameras, right? If you're not going to offend anybody, not right now, I'm kidding, I see a bunch of people reaching for their phones. No, throughout the night, take photos, use the hashtag SDSW, stands for San Diego Startup Week, in case those of you that haven't caught on to that yet. Just making sure we're all together here. And take photos and share those things, share it with these startups. One of the unique things about being on stage is it's kind of faux pas to stand there and take photos of yourself while everyone else waits. So they want some photos of them on the stage presenting their stuff. So a couple of ground rules about Startup Week, or about Demo Night, and then we'll get right into the demos. Number one, these 7 startups were selected from a group of about 25 applications this time around. Like I said, it's a diverse mix. You're going to see a bunch of different ideas and things and that people are working on. And we've asked them to give us 5 minutes. Now it's a 5-minute demo. The difference between a demo and a pitch is like the difference between the LA Dodgers, who I love, and the Giants. Immense, okay? You're not going to see graphs, I hope not, of charts that go up and to the left that are full of shit about how they're going to grow, right? You're not going to see pictures of people they used to work at Google underneath them. You're not going to see pitches that are asking them for lots and lots of money or for why you're the right team. Instead, you're going to see what they're actually working on live. And so, caveat number 1, Murphy's Law, things are bound to go wrong. They do it every time at Demo Night. The internet shuts down, a plane flies over and crashes into the building. Hopefully that doesn't work, or doesn't happen, or something happens. So bear with it, be supportive. It's hard to stand up here and do that. Number 2, we'll give some time for Q&A. Obviously, there's not a microphone on the stage, so if you have a question to ask, make sure you raise your hand really high, and make sure when you ask that question, you ask it loud so that whoever's on stage can actually hear you, right? And number 3, and this is probably the most important thing that I can say, if you hear nothing else from me tonight, which I hope you don't, I hope you hear this. I travel a lot. I'm harassed by the TSA a lot. I stand there like this a lot. It sucks. The TSA, in my opinion, sucks. But there is one thing that they've given us that I want to borrow and bring into every demo night that we do, and that is this. If you see something, okay, a couple of you travel, right? Yeah, you know that sign. It's like, yeah, if I see what, right? If you see something tonight from one of these startups that you go, oh my gosh, that tweaks an idea in my head. Or, oh, I know someone who would be the perfect user for that. Or, oh, I know this investor that would be really excited about that opportunity. Or, you know what, I did something similar. Maybe I can share some learnings. If you see something tonight where you can offer value to these 7 startups that pitch or that demo their wares tonight, say something. Walk up to them, introduce yourself. It's very simple. Hello, I'm Jeremiah. Loved your demo. Here's what I can offer. Or here's what I thought. Or here, I'd love to be a beta tester. If you see something, say something. That's how our community continues to grow. That's how our community continues to thrive. And that's why San Diego is such an amazing place to start a business and to be in the startup community, is because when we see something as a community, we say something. And then the final rule for Demo Night is this. It is not easy to stand on this stage. It is not easy to show your baby off that you love and have been working on and absolutely have poured your heart and soul into, because someone might call your baby ugly, and that's vulnerable. And so it's a vulnerable choice for these guys to stand up here tonight and share. And so I ask for you to be generous with your applause, to be generous with your support, and to be generous with the fact that you're here to support them, not to judge them. Make sense? Are we all in agreement in that? Cool. So I hope you're ready to see all kinds of cool things that are being built right here in San Diego. I got a good sneak peek of it, and I'm really excited about tonight. Oh yeah, one more housekeeping item. I guess we'll do it at the end, never mind. Did anyone park and need validation? Okay, a couple of you. Yeah, see Zeke. Zeke, stand up and do a dance. That's not a dance. There you go, good job. See Zeke if you need validation. That's Scott, that's good. Okay, you guys ready? Yeah. Let's give them one more big round welcome. Round of applause, welcome. And without further ado, welcome Tours to the stage.
Is this on? Good evening, everyone. My name is Aaron Martledge, and I'm the founder and CEO of Tours. Now, before I start, I'm going to make a simple request. I hope some of you comply. If you download the app now by going to tours.com, you can ignore me for the rest of the 5 minutes. So go ahead, download it. I won't be offended, trust me, but I really encourage you to take a look. A little over a year ago, I was in New York City on business, staying in the financial district. I was there for only one night, and I was asking myself, how do I find an experience? I really don't like guidebooks. I didn't want to go buy a guidebook. I don't like paying for guided tours. And I didn't want to spend time looking at travel blogs, top 10 lists, or flipping through Instagram. So we created Tours. Tours is a marketplace for anyone to create, sell, and buy smartphone guided tours. I like to think of it like Etsy for experiences. If you have a passion and local knowledge, you can share that and make money. So first, when we got started, we were looking at tourism, and tourism is a big market, everybody knows that. You start off, you look at $6.4 billion annually the tour operators are bringing in. They're grinding it out, they're working really, really hard. But that's really not what we're only looking at here. We started to take a look and we said, really, what else is out there? And if you look at what could be a tour, you start looking at college campuses. You start to realize that when you're selecting a school that you're going to attend, it's not just about a facilities tour. It's really more than that. You start thinking about all of the experiences that go into that. The school spirit, the community, the environment. And we have students that are creating tours about their majors, creating tours about their favorite sports, their clubs, and the off-campus activities that they do when they're not at school. And you start to think about date night. Date night. Everybody's wondering, oh, what am I going to do? How do I do something creative and new that I haven't done before that's not Netflix and chill? So we got to find a way to get more information out there. What about families? How do you create a fun morning where everyone in the family, where the kids can have fun playing, running around museums, exploring while the parents are getting coffee and acai bowls? That's an experience. That's a tour. That's something somebody knows here in this audience that can share that with another person. And if you start to think about it, if you look around, this is really a really big space. You start to see all the opportunity around there for tours and experiences in the real world that is enabled by technology. And you start thinking about brewery tours, you start thinking about public art, you start thinking about hiking and trails, and the list just goes on from there. So our platform is really there to help people discover new experiences in their backyard, and also as they plan a trip around the world. So I'm going to jump into a couple little demos here. Let's hope the technology wizards work. So here we have Jacob. Jacob is looking for something to do in San Diego. He's browsing through the tours that are here. He's obviously hipster, so we're going to go ahead and think he wants to do a brewery tour. He's going to click on that. He's going to check it out, look at the costs, see what he should bring, see if that's for him. He says, yep, let's do it. And he starts to see all the stops right there in front of him. The first one's Ballast Point, Little Italy. If you haven't gone, you should go. It's a great place. And then it's really up to him. He's in control of the experience. He can go where he wants to go. He can skip a location if he doesn't like something. He no longer has to really be controlled in that tour operation. And it's very powerful. And so we're giving that control back to him as an explorer of the world. So he goes and has a couple beers, and then he can click the Uber button within the app to get to the next place where he can have a pint. So controlling that entire experience for him, enabling technology for him to have a better experience in the real world. But that's really just one part of the equation. The other is the creation side. The platform is entirely enabled on your mobile device, on your smartphone. You can create a tour. Anybody in here can download the app and create a tour today. So here we have Jen. Jen is creating a tour of New York City. She's already got the first location in there, which is the Freedom Tower in New York. And she can add YouTube videos, she can add text, she can add audio narration, sound effects, you name it. There's a whole bunch. The Statue of Liberty. So she goes in, we have full mapping integration. She can get in there, search by name, find that, drop a pin, create that next location. She then wants to go in, add a photo to give it a little more context, and maybe she wants to add some text to make it personal. She can do all that all within the app in real time. This is not sped up, this is how fast it is. And then she wants to help you get between the two locations. We have transitions. She can open that up and say, hey, I want to do biking, driving, walking, or custom transitions. There's a lot of water there, so she wants to do a custom transition on a ferry to get between the locations. This is just a start. I really want to encourage everyone to, again, go to tours.com, download the app. We're in public beta right now on both Apple and Android. We'd love to have you create an experience. If there's one thing that I would love to see today, is we get a lot of new tours from the people in the audience. If you're interested in talking further, we are looking to raise money. I'd love to talk to you one-on-one about that, but more importantly, please go out there and create an experience. Thank you so much for your attention. I'll open it up to questions. Anybody have a question? Yes?
Does it have audio tours or is it just text and pictures?
It has audio, so it's up to the creator to do whatever audio they want. So you can record audio directly on the phone. We also have the ability for some of our publishers to upload audio files that are much more rich. Thanks. Yeah.
Anything in it for the tour creator? Pay or anything like that?
Yeah, so the question was, what's in it for the tour creator? So we have a rev share for the tour creator. They can price it. We typically think it'll be anywhere from $3 to $5, and they get 50% of the net. Yeah. Yes, so the question was, can you provide feedback? Great question. Obviously, if you're a tour creator, one of the best things that you want to have is good feedback and positive reinforcement that you've created a great experience. We're working on building a lot of that into the application, but yes, ratings, reviews, and also tipping, so that you could say, hey, I want to give a tour for free. I believe in sharing my experience with the world. At the end of the tour, people can give you a tip if they think you did a great job. Yeah.
Are you US only or are you global or Europe?
Yeah, so the question was, where are we located? We started our public beta here in San Diego, so if you download the app, you'll see the content is in San Diego only. That's intentionally for us to kind of learn from the experience and see how that works. We actually have tours already in there that are unapproved, waiting for around the world, Rio, Barcelona, you name it. So it's really up to us to kind of open the floodgates. But obviously with user-generated content, we want to get it right. Yes, so the question was, if you create a date night and you have several locations, can you link them together and do was it coupon? Yeah. So obviously one of the great things that we're looking to do is create connections for local businesses. If you can imagine the foot traffic that's walking by a venue and being able to help people come in that door, give them a discount, give them a benefit, whatever that might be, sell tickets, that's really the future. I mean, we're a little ways away from that. Obviously you have to have a lot of traffic, but that's very powerful. Yeah, so the question is, can you tie in with special events like Startup Week? I was kicking myself yesterday. I did the startup crawl. How many people did the startup crawl? And I was like, every one of those people could have had a download of the tour. And so I know what to do next year. How about that? Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it.
Let's give it up for Aaron. I was in rural Iowa last week, in Grimes, Iowa. Oh, ooh, someone knows where that is. Holy crap. Create a tour, man, because I want to know where the hell I was. I was like, there's corn over there and corn over there and another corn over there. I don't know what to do at this point. So thank you, Aaron, for sharing. Download the app, use it. I'd like to introduce you to Chip. He's going to tell you a little bit about what he's been working on.
Yeah, hi, I'm Chip Allen. I'm the founder of Gopher. Gopher is an AI-based assistant that helps salespeople become more productive, or entrepreneurs like you who are managing sales. So a lot of AI bots have come out recently. If you've been watching it, it's become the big craze. What they're doing is most of them focus on a single task. What we've decided to do is focus on a single person at the company. So we don't believe people are going to want to talk to 20 different bots. So we're focusing on the salesperson and automating everything in his life for them. All right, so you can talk to your Gopher assistant wherever you are, and you can talk to it on whatever device you're on. So you can do that through our app, you can do that through email, and we're also going to support Slack and Skype soon here too. So a few of the things you can do with Gopher are schedule meetings, you can automate Salesforce, and soon in the future you'll be able to book travel, run analytics, and also do research on your companies. So I'm going to show you 2 quick demos here. So the first one will be me in the Gopher app, automating some Salesforce stuff. And then the second one will be me scheduling some meetings and showing you how powerful that is. So let's make this big. All right, so imagine I'm a salesperson about to jump on a conference call. So if I need to look up something quick, I don't want to have to go pull out my computer or do something, I can just talk to my phone. Open the Microsoft account. Okay, so it pops up, Salesforce comes up here, that's pretty basic. Now what's more powerful is, say I get out of the meeting. My sales manager wants all the stuff that's in my head to get put into the tool, right? Now normally I forget, it doesn't happen. So with this I can do that right as I get out of the meeting. Log a call with Henry Smith. Log a call with Henry Smith at Microsoft. The call went well, he just needs to figure out his budget. So there we go, so the call's logged. It's not going to jump up in your face until I ask it to. So if I wanted to see that log, I could ask for it to come up. Now also I can bring up reports. Open the Sales Manager dashboard. 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 There we go. I think the echo in here is screwing it up. All right, so there it is. So pretty powerful. What we're piloting, which I can't show you, which is even cooler, is it's watching my communications. It's adding my emails automatically into Salesforce so I don't have to do it. And if I forget to do something that my manager wants me to do, it's going to be prompting me to do that. All right, so let me jump over. This second demo is going to be Gopher scheduling meetings for me. So let's say a client has emailed me and I need to get back to them. Okay? The way this works is every user gets a unique email address for their Gopher assistant. Okay? So you can copy your Gopher assistant on an email and it'll take over, schedule the whole meeting, reach out to every participant to find the best time. All you have to do is just connect your calendars. So we support all the major calendars. So let's do one here. So let's say Henry reached out to me. I reply back. I'm copying my assistant. I'm going to arrange a 1-hour conference call for next week. So I can add any details in here to tell Gopher specifics. You can see I want it next week. Gopher will do its best to try to schedule it during that time. So this fires off. I don't have to think about it again after this. Okay? And you can see how powerful that is. So and wanted to meet. So in one day I had to schedule 15 meetings. So all I had to do was just hit reply 15 times and forget about it. 15 meeting invites started showing up in my email inbox all day long. Okay? So this is going to save a lot of time. All right, so let's come over here and see what he sees. So what the participant gets is a list of a few times that work best for me. Gopher's going to pick those. It's going to subtract times when I'm traveling. So they can select those, or this is what separates us from some of the other meeting schedulers you've seen out there. Oh, that was an old one. One sec. That was the one I just sent. Okay, so what separates us is instead of just going back and forth through email over and over, even with the assistant, users get to see my calendar. So they can come in here, they can select times that work best for them, and they know it's going to work for me because it's open. Each user can vote for different times, and then it'll take the consensus of what's best for everybody. Now what's even cooler is if you have a Gopher assistant and I have a Gopher assistant and I email you, it's going to pick for both of us, so neither of us have to do anything. Okay, and that's the real power. So that is it. Our product is finished. We're at the seed stage and raising money, so if you are interested in that, please talk to me afterwards. Thanks. So any questions? Anybody? Yes?
Do you find that sometimes users don't like it if your salespeople don't want to use the AI, they'd rather be hidden?
So the question is, do people ever want to hide the AI?
Make it look like it's
Oh, and make it look more human? Yeah, I think that's happened a little bit. But at the same time, I think in the past there's been Clippy, 20 years back. So I don't think people want too much of stuff that's in their face. So what we've tried to do is we only let them tell Gopher to do something. So they know what they want, and Gopher just goes and does it, and they get to get their job done. That's all they care about. They don't want personality when they're working and those types of things. So other assistants for consumers seem to put more personality into it, make it seem more human. We just haven't done that. Anybody else? Yep. What's the question? How do we earn money? So it is a per user license for corporations. So we're targeting the enterprise. Yeah.
If you could have all the bells and whistles tomorrow, your project was completely done, what's the coolest thing that you really want to tackle and get done?
So the coolest thing we're doing, which we want to do next, is have Gopher actually write communications for you. So you'd walk in the morning, you'd see a list of things that you need to work on, opportunities you haven't attended to, and Gopher's already written what it thinks is a good message to each of those people. You just quickly review it. As you're reviewing it, Gopher gets smarter, starts writing it better the next day. You just hit send all, and you just responded to 50 opportunities at once. That's our ideal. Yep. So the question was, have we thought about any lead gen type system? No, not yet. But yeah, I can talk to you after about that. Yeah.
So you guys are using like natural language processing. Is that like developed in-house, or do you use an API?
Yeah. So the question is, what NLP we're using? So we're using the wit.ai for a lot of the framework, and then where it has stuff we can't do that we need, we then put more on top of that. But they have a very good framework to start with, so there's no point in wasting your time. Yeah. Yes. So it doesn't have to be an enterprise salesperson. So you as an entrepreneur can definitely start using this. The meeting scheduler is live today, so you can sign up on gopher.co, not com, co, and start using meeting scheduling right now.
All right. Let's give it up for Chip.
It'd be pretty awesome if your replying to email was just, yeah, that looks good. It's about right. Boom, done. I would absolutely love that, and I think it's something that our personal sales force, I'm going to have them check out. Well, next up, it's very exciting. If you're ready to go. Just about.
Not yet. Magic.
Boom. Not yet. So, jokes. Anyone got a good joke? 3 guys walk into it. No, I'm just kidding. So that's, joke starts like that, I automatically shut down. No, I literally was in Grimes, and I was there with a company called John Deere, me, California boy, hanging out with them, John Deere, and it was very interesting. But I'll shut up because Justin wants to introduce himself.
Thanks.
Give it up for Justin from Team Vibe.
I'm going to start by getting some people in trouble. There's one table over there with beer and wine. I'm coming over and hang out with you afterwards. It's like we're in Utah and they're in Las Vegas or something. I'm Justin Ramers. I'm CEO and co-founder of Team Vibe. Team Vibe is technology that helps companies manage and grow their company culture. So I worked at Active Network for many years. Active had a great culture. Everybody wanted to work there. People took way too little money to work there. And when the stuff started to hit the fan, people continued to work there. That wasn't because of their job, it was because of the people. It was because of things like this. So these kinds of programs happened organically all the time at Active, and they weren't necessarily pushed down by management. They were created grassroots from the employees. Things like health and wellness programs, happy hours, even teaching each other new programming language or marketing tactics. All that stuff is what makes up the culture and gets people together in order to build and grow that culture. So we set out and built a product to help facilitate that. And our product speaks much better for itself than any slides do, so I'm just going to show you. There we go. All right, so this is what an instance of Team Vibe looks like. It's a private instance for Active Network in this case. It's locked down to the company email address. Each one of these tiles we call a vibe, and each vibe is essentially a micro-community dedicated to a specific company program, social group, or common interest. It's very, as you can see, it's very clean and modern looking. It's almost Pinteresty in a way. You can sort through different categories and customize the different categories of programs. Obviously, every company has a different culture. Some might want to focus more on health and wellness. Some might want to focus more on learning. It's up to you how you create your Team Vibe instance. But each of these vibes acts as a mechanism for you to organize around a specific activity or special interest. Go into a vibe here real quick. Very simple functionality, event calendar, discussions, and members. So the event calendar replaces the flyers in the hallways and the bathrooms that are always around that nobody sees. It gives you the ability to see what's going on. You can jump into a full calendar here and actually RSVP for events. You can see other people that are going to the events. So you can see which of your coworkers are participating. You can jump into their profiles and start to learn a little bit more about your coworkers, put a face to the name and see what they're interested in based on the things they participate in. You can, of course, message them and do all those things. There's other tools that do that as well, but we think there's an important line to draw between business and work tools and the company culture tools. So the context of this platform is to organize all that other stuff that doesn't make up your day-to-day job. The third piece, so that's events and members. The third piece is discussions. And discussions is quite a bit different than social media today, where everything's feed-based and sort of flies off the page. You know, in real time, you only see half the stuff. If you miss a day, you missed a whole bunch of stuff. This is more discussion form, so you're actually building up evergreen content. If I started a topic about overcoming injuries in yogas in December, that could still be going for days or weeks or months. People can come in and out, people can revive it, and you're building up a repository of good content. This is health and wellness, but the vibe could be dedicated to sales training or executive leadership or a local green team or fundraising or community efforts, on and on and on. You get the idea. The point is that anyone can roll out a vibe and start to organize things within the workplace. Every vibe has a champion or champions. So we put the power in the hands of the employees. So the person that's passionate about yoga runs the yoga vibe. The person that loves basketball runs lunchtime hoops. And they're the ones that really facilitate the content, schedule the events, approve members, and manage the day-to-day. If I am interested in something as I'm browsing around, I can join a vibe, and doing that basically lets me subscribe to that vibe. I get one email a day now that consolidates everything that I'm into, all the events, all the discussion, everything that's going around the workplace on the things that I've selected and nothing that I haven't selected. So that takes everything out of email. It cuts down the noise that goes around every day in the workplace to organize and facilitate these things. The best part about it is that every company already has this stuff happening organically. So we'll go into a company and the first thing we do is just capture the 15, 20, 50 things that are already going on, and when we deploy, the employees are seeing things they're already familiar with and they get right in. But from that point on, it's meant to be organic and grassroots, as I said, where any employee can come in and create a vibe. We have some call to actions here, and if they do that, we've built almost like an app store, we call it, of templates of a lot of the common things that most companies need. So if I want to bring Toastmasters into my company, because I'm a fan of public speaking, I can come in here, we got some preloaded images to make it pretty easy. I can customize some settings, and boom. We like to say, you can launch a vibe in 30 seconds. Now that goes into a pending state, and HR has to approve everything, so things aren't just going out crazy, but it allows people to roll things out really easy and test them and see what resonates. While the champions run the individual vibes, we have a pretty cool dashboard for HR and for the executives that start to give them actual culture analytics that they haven't seen before. So what are people interested in the company? Maybe someone started a gaming vibe. I never would have thought of that as an executive. And for the third month in a row, it's the #2 trending vibe. Maybe I should invest some money in gaming, events and initiatives rather than take people to the Padres game every year. So that's about it. There's a lot more under the hood. There's a lot of intelligence that's built in the platform to listen for things that are active or inactive, identify those, shut things down automatically if they're not going well or not trending. And that's it. I'm happy to take any questions. Thank you. Yes.
Do you have any kind of cross-organization sharing good vibes over the companies?
Yeah, on a couple tips. So the question was, can you share what's working well across the organization or with other organizations? Absolutely. So you have a big company with multiple offices. Something in the Boston office is going really well. Part of the dashboard will identify that and maybe now roll it out as a global program. We're also doing some analytics across the platform that start to identify things that people are using and liking, and we build those into the App Store as a template. So it makes it really easy. And we if you're a customer of the product, we send you, monthly updates on here's some great ideas, this is what's working for other companies. Obviously, their information is their own, and we don't disclose that, but from a global level, we can do that. Yes?
Is this like a traditional SaaS seat license model, enterprise?
Yeah, it's a SaaS question of this model. It's a SaaS model, so it's priced per employee per month.
And then so on that marketplace component that you have,
Yep.
are there plans to bring in external parties to that, or kind of like a group on it, like a rate on those vendors that come in?
Right. Absolutely. So the question is the marketplace, can you grow into a marketplace? And that's absolutely kind of a home run view for us. We're focusing on the SaaS and try to make some money now. But if obviously chicken and egg, if you get a lot of clients on the platform and we're in a lot of companies servicing a lot of employees, it makes perfect sense to add vendors and anything from yoga instructors to e-learning programs, bring them into that marketplace. And the nice thing about it is because the company can pick and choose which vibes they want, it's not like we're putting advertising in front of them, right? They just have options.
They can suggest what they want.
Exactly. Exactly. But if I have a pre-built vibe that's templated out, that's packed with content from a thought leader, that wants, maybe Jeremiah has a vibe that he wants to, offer up to companies, he could charge for it or not, it's up to him. But he could basically deploy that pre-packaged vibe into a company with one click. Yes?
How do you tell a company that might have a system already in place that is working, it's maybe not the most efficient system? How do you tell them to push money from their budget into your platform?
Yeah, good question. So how do you get a company that has something that's kind of working to write its check? Well, we built it to layer on top of things. So we know there's big players, there's Slacks, there's intranets, there's things out there that people use for general day-to-day communication. We're layering on top of that, we're integrating with that. We hope that the call out of it being a culture platform is strong enough that, at the end of the day, it's a SaaS product that we built for the employees, right? The employees have to love to use this. And a lot of HR tools are great for HR people and not great for employees. I don't want to take another survey, I don't want to do that stuff, right? So the idea is that you can use whatever you want as the foundation. It can be this, it can be your intranet, and we drive people there. So we're going to do a Slack integration that will have a Team Vibe channel that will drive cultural things, people using Slack to this platform when they want updates on different stuff. As far as moving the budget over, obviously the ROI on this is employee satisfaction, lower attrition, Everybody knows the numbers of it, $100,000 if you lose an employee to replace them or more. It's a tool to keep your employees happy and motivated. Yes? There's a technical guy. It's all on Node.js with React and React, so all the social components there. Yes, it's very fast. Push notifications. I'm sorry? Can you? Oh, smartphones. So today, we built it for web and mobile friendly. We don't have an app version yet. We're building that. Obviously, it's a little more expensive to build the apps. When we have the native apps, then you'll get the push notifications. But in the meantime, the email, the daily email digest that kind of gives you, everything that's going on is the main form of re-engagement for us. Yes? Right. The question was, did we have any research that it appeals to millennials? Other than the design, we hope it does. The nice thing about millennials is people that aren't millennials don't know how to please millennials, and if they think it does, then they'll buy it just to try to please the millennials. But seriously, we tried to build it so it was appealing to a younger generation, but also easy enough to use to non-millennials or an older generation as well. We don't have any research on that. We hope through the usage stats that we can prove, and obviously we can slice and dice age groups and all that kind of stuff down the road, but we're not quite there yet. Yeah.
Do the employees know that the data is being aggregated and shown to HR?
The question is, do employees know that their data is being shown to HR? Do the employees know that their emails are being shown to HR?
Well, no, I mean, like, as far as the trend and, like, what you're saying is showing,
Yeah.
Are they aware of that?
Yeah, I mean, we told the line there, obviously. I mean, Slack, same thing. They have retention policies, and anything you say on Slack, even in a private channel, is ultimately the company's domain. So we don't publicize that, and the stats we give, we try to do aggregate in the back end and whatnot. Ultimately, an admin can go in and read any message in any vibe, and that's just the nature of corporate, right?
But they know that there's a dashboard that HR is seeing to identify.
I don't know. I mean, they might know. I mean, it's on the website. We don't hide it. It's not like a secret, No, it's not like a secret HR dashboard that employees don't know about.
Let's give it up for Justin.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So I can very quickly answer which vibe I would put as a package. It'd be very simple. It'd be a few words. It'd say beer, 30, description, cheeseburger in paradise, I think is what it would be. And I wonder if people would actually buy that. I think, no? Maybe. Yeah, see? There you go. Oh, we got technology. So back in no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Yeah, so it's pretty incredible what's being built. It's 3 in. Anyone really itching for some wine or some beer, you can tackle those guys. Yeah, they're looking around. They know they have it. So, quick thing, what do you think so far? Doing good? Doing well? The front's doing well. Typically they do. If you're a front sitter, you're usually really engaged in things. I hope that's true for you. I'm a back sitter. Actually, I'm a back stander. Because if something sucks, I want to get out of there really, really fast. So congratulations. They're having fun. How about the back? Are you guys doing all right? You see the difference between their enthusiasm up here at front? You guys are like, woo, we're all into it. And they're like, yeah, it's yay, flags. Back, how are you doing? A little bit better? There we go. How are we looking, guys? I need to stall some more. We're good. Please welcome Daniel from Democracy Counts.
Thank you very much. My name is Daniel Wolf. I'm with a new nonprofit startup called Democracy Counts. As we all know in this room, every public company in the United States is required to be audited every quarter. And yet, strangely enough, the most important decisions that we make as a nation, as individuals, which is to say electing our president and electing members of Congress and legislatures and so on, is never audited. There's a lot of evidence, statistical, circumstantial, and in some cases small amounts of direct evidence, suggesting that a lot of elections in the United States are manipulated, if not outright flipped. The Democracy Counts has developed a system to audit elections. We ran a beta last Tuesday the 7th, in San Diego, Los Angeles, and Berkeley. It's not a complicated system, but it is a challenging system. It basically relies on a lot of volunteers and a number of apps feeding data into real-time databases, such that when the polls close, we start comparing our data with the official results. And when we see discrepancies, we flag them. We have analytic people, and we will be having analytic people. We don't have those teams set up yet, to analyze the discrepancies, run significance tests, that sort of thing, and then be prepared overnight to turn solid, direct evidence over to legal teams, whoever has standing, whoever the candidates are who are allegedly being defrauded, so they can go into court the next day or the day after, before the results have been certified, and ask for a preliminary injunction against certification and an order for investigation, so that essentially the judiciary can trigger a prosecutorial investigation at a much higher resource expenditure level than any private party in the United States is capable of doing. We are planning to make this software available, and as well, of course, there's the human, so there's a lot of human elements to it, a lot of professionalism, it's nonpartisan. We're going to make it available to the world after November. We're planning to audit the battleground states in November. It's a big effort. We'll have to recruit something on the order of 50,000 volunteers to do this. But we plan to develop essentially the platinum standard of auditing evidence. Now I'm going to show you, this is a workaround we've got here. Interestingly, because of the election and probably 1,000 emails, I did not even know we had been selected for this until late last night. And so I thought, okay, what's the easiest way to make this visible to everybody? Well, I grabbed my friend's iPad. Guess what? The iPad's the worst thing you can use for this. So now the tech people here have done a really good job. So basically the way this works, there's a number of apps, but this is the platinum standard one. A voter goes in and votes, comes out, and presumably has been talked to, there's been some voter education, and comes out and votes again, essentially. So there's a parallel vote. We need very high response levels, of course, to make this work. We're using a distributed database. We're working with blockchain technology. We may have some fallbacks for now. This is a kind of a fallback app. And so it's time and location stamped, so we know where the poll is. You fill out, you just say, who wants to vote? Anybody want to take a vote again? Okay, I'm going to vote for somebody nobody knows. Martin O'Malley. Okay, now, right now, we voted for president. That's all we've done for the beta test. We're going to go a little bit further down ballot in November. Not very far because it's very resource intensive. Every nth voter, we're going to be doing some statistical analysis so that we can extend the power of the data. So we'll ask for the voters' gender, we'll ask for age, we'll ask for race, and so on. This is basically the CNN poll. So, were you born in the US? Yes. What's your party identification? I'm an independent. There's an ideology question. I'm a moderator, whatever it is. Anyway, I'm going to jump to the bottom, and then I'm going to save it. Now, this is the person standing with their app outside. It's gone onto the database. It's uploaded, it's permanent, it's beyond reach, it's verifiable end-to-end and transparent, which is a model for voting systems as well. And then we do a little bit of legalism. We ask people to sign a declaration. So we ask for, ignore the public key, that's their own accident. We put their name in, Reds, you know, the precinct is set by the GPS. They put in their address, you know, and there's a code and so on. And then the declaration, okay, there's a declaration there that says, basically, it affirms that the vote that I am casting right now in this independent kind of parallel election is the same vote as I cast inside. You know, and because we have the person's contact information, of course, as long as we have their name, we could contact them through official information as well. But this gives us a quick way to contact them, so that if their parties are in court submitting this declaration along with the evidence of the vote, they can. It's very straightforward for the judge to say, okay, there's real people attesting to the correctness of their vote, and then they sign it. You finish signing it, you save it, and then you're back to the start again, and you work with another voter. Now, there's other elements to this, but basically what we're doing here, who is, I'm sure everybody in this audience has heard of Buckminster Fuller, right? He invented the geodesic dome, for the one person who doesn't know him. He used to call himself Mr. Trim Tab. What we're about here, you know, is being like the trim tab on a rudder of a high-speed aircraft. It's very hard to turn the rudder against the high-speed wind. So instead, the engineers, they put a little trim tab on the rudder, and that's easier to turn, and then the wind pushes the rudder around, and then the aircraft starts to turn. What we're doing here is creating a judicial trip mechanism such that if we produce a minimum level of kind of probable cause to believe something weird is going on, sufficient to cause the judiciary to order an investigation such that the government has to invest its resources in investigating what happened to see if there indeed was fraud in the election that could have flipped the election. That's unprecedented. There have been a handful of elections where people have gone around and collected affidavits, local elections, and managed to flip elections, get the judges to order the elections to be vacated. They're extremely rare because it's so hard to do. So we're essentially doing it automatically just by providing a means on election day for everybody to participate in an election audit. So now I was told that well, I guess I'm going to leave it at that for now. I'll do the ask that I was told we could do after Q&A. Any questions? Yes?
What does this do specifically that exit polls don't?
Exit poll, what does it do that exit polls don't? It's in a certain respect, it's exit poll on steroids. Exit polls are a sample of a small part of a larger population from which you extrapolate to indicate what the larger population is doing. In social science, the exit polls, if they're properly done, and most are properly done, are the gold standard. We know mathematically that if we have a random sample of voters and it's a large enough sample, you know, what we extrapolate to the larger population is correct within a very small percentage, confidence interval. The problem with exit polls in the United States is that politically they've been discredited. And we're adding our demographics in order to re-credibilize, so to speak, exit polls, so that we can indeed show that, number one, with our nearly 100% population data in some polls, and with some statistics applied to that, we can say that not only are we extrapolating to the larger population, we actually know what the population is. So that really ties the statistics to a known real population. Then we can laterally go to other precincts and use fewer personnel and do smaller samples and still tie it to the demographics, so that we can say in court, look, we've got direct evidence of the true population, we've got statistics that tie to our other precincts where we're doing samples. This is really solid. It justifies judicial intervention. Yeah. The question, very valid question, is why don't we just have an app that lets voters do this themselves? And that indeed is where the project got started. Last August, I thought up that app. And then I talked to all my friends who are still in the election observation business. I used to do this. And they said, no way, you're never going to be able to get the highest enough levels of participation, number one. Number two, there's, from a lawyer's perspective, I'm a lawyer too, my condolences to myself, it's very difficult to establish the proper chain of custody, of the information. So how do you know that the voter, we can do samples and so on. It basically becomes a really hairy mess. Yes, that's the ultimate really good answer, and we have that app on the back burner. We just simply move these forward. We're going to be going through the years. This is a long game we're playing. This is not going to be finished in November. We're planning to push this through the next 2 or 3 or 4 elections until the sufficient reform energy has been generated and sufficient voter education for more of these apps to be used and more participation to be forthcoming, and for political openings to be spread, so that people who are reformers who want to see good voting systems that don't need to be audited because they're already transparent and self-auditing, that those can be pushed into place. It's really a process issue. What is? Oh, selfies. Right. The question, do you want, the problem, the issue he noted is that selfies in the voting booth are a problem. Some states they're legal, some states they're illegal, but they're happening all over the place. And selfies in the United States are not generally considered to be particularly dangerous, because one vote, mathematically speaking, has infinitesimal value. But it depends on where you are. If you're in Taiwan and you have a business relationship with someone in China and they want to know that you voted correctly in the Taiwanese presidential election because there's an impact on the independence movement, then you might have to take that selfie in order to prove the way you voted. So indeed, my friends in USAID who are working on this problem all the time, say that this issue of the app inside the voting booth, this is one of the major problems with this. So it's going to take some time to work through this issue just to make sure that we don't accidentally create unintended consequences. And in fact, if there are places where you can imagine them off the top of your head, where if you're identified with a certain vote, incidentally or deliberately, you can get yourself killed. So we're planning to spearhead an international federation of election auditors, and in order to work with local organizations that can develop their own kind of political standards, of safety, so that they can do auditing, but also have a little bit of an umbrella like Oxfam provides to humanitarian groups in country, so that some of these issues can be dealt with. Yeah, I think this is it. Thank you very much. Oh, can I ask one last thing there? Sorry about that. So the ask. We need database programmers. If you know people who do blockchain database programming, that would be great. This is a big social media push. Donations and, and shares and so on and so forth are really valuable. People who are connected to other people are incredibly valuable because this is going to succeed. This is an extremely short and steep runway we have to ascend. And so the more people who know about it, the more you just simply tell people. We need statisticians and mathematicians to do analysis before and after an election, pure mathematicians even. So all of that sort of, if you can imagine a way that you might be able to help, please contact me. Thank you.
All right, let's give it up for Daniel. Democracy counts. It's funny, I have very little fear of public speaking. Always kind of been that way. But you know what my biggest public fear is? You can guess? What? Being naked in public. That would be bad. But actually, it's public math. I can't help you, Daniel. I'm sorry. Public math, any math, not going to happen for me. One of the things I love about startups is startups solve problems. And what a problem to tackle. The way that we elect our leaders and the way that we elect folks and the way that we are able to enforce that is pretty cool. So thanks, Daniel, for that. I'd like to welcome to the stage Tay. And he's going to tell you a little bit about what he's been working on.
It's not going full screen. Yes, I am a CTO, strangely enough. All right, we'll do this the old-fashioned way. All right, my name is Tay Nguyen. Some of you might know me. I was one of the co-founders of Divix, but I'm here to talk about my new startup, which is OptiSum. So, I get to talk to you about something that I love to do. I love to sleep. And I didn't say sleeping around, I said sleep. So, who else loves to sleep? Or loves for you to sleep? Oh, all right, look, all right, I got some fans out there, that's fantastic. But employers like their employees to sleep. Because employers know that if you've slept well, you're gonna be more productive, you're gonna have less workplace accidents, and in the long run, you're gonna cost them less in your healthcare costs because of diabetes, obesity, all of the comorbid conditions around an unhealthy lifestyle. And sleep is a very important part of that healthy lifestyle. So I'm going to show you what our team has been working on. It's a product called Project Z. Project Z for sleep. And this video is going to run real fast, so I'm going to talk a little bit like Bugs Bunny. But let's see if I can go through this and keep pace. So Project Z really starts off with two things. First is a clinically validated screener that our clinicians have developed that categorizes the sleep risk and the problems that an employee has. After the screening is done, the employee will get a personalized action plan based on cognitive behavior therapy. So it's a well-validated way of treating psychological disorders through what our clinicians call behavior treatment or habit-forming techniques. So we're going to go through the screening of a employee named Shannon Lee. She is a nurse at a hospital. She works the night shift 4 days a week. She has some issues with stress, anxiety, and some poor sleeping habits. So you can see that she's going through, very quickly, I might add, checking through some of the issues that she has. And then some of these questions also pertain to her sleepiness during the day and also her productivity. So here our clinical algorithms are working through and taking all her answers and creating a sleep report. So in this report, we kind of outline some of the key facets that are affecting her sleep health. So if she's a shift worker, she is anxious at bedtime, and she has high stress. So we take that information and we recommend a set of therapy modules for her. And we package those therapy modules in a challenge called the 14-day challenge. So of all the therapy modules that we have in our system, we picked the ones that are most appropriate for her conditions. So she accepts our challenge, and she'll move on through to our dashboard. Now here, she can start interacting with our system. She gets through the challenges and looks through the therapy modules, and let's say the first one she selects is an exercise to help her with her worry. So how many of you guys have gone to bed and just could not fall asleep because you're thinking about what you're going to do the next day? Think about all the little things in your mind will just not shut the F up, right? So I've been there, certainly know what it's like. So our clinical team has been working with this in their patients in their practice for decades. They've developed a worry exercise. It's a method, and it's the cognitive and cognitive behavior therapy. So we look to treat people and to help them redefine their perspective on the issues that are facing their mental health. So the worry exercise, Shannon reads an article, and she takes some quizzes, answers some quiz questions that help reinforce what she's learned in the article. So as she goes through this, she's, again, reaffirming all the things that she might have learned as she read the article. And as she comes through, she comes back to the dashboard, and you can see that she's earned some points just for doing that. And these points can be applied to her employer's incentive award programs. She also is able to give us a little bit of feedback on how we're doing and whether she liked the card or the task or not, and we use that to continually improve our system. So she got her points. She's going to move through and go look for some other activities. Now this next card is a good example of the behavior in cognitive behavior therapy. So how many people watch TV right before bed? Read an iPad, look on your smartphone? Yeah, quite a few of you. I do it too. And it's one of the worst things that you can do before you go to bed. And that's because these screens, our lovely electronic screens, emit blue light. And blue light is a primal trigger for your brain to stay awake. So just like when you drive into work in the morning and you get all that light from the sun and you feel more alert and awake because of it, you're doing the exact same thing at night if you look at your screen and you're exposed to that same light. Your brain triggers and thinks that it should be awake. So in the end, you have a hard time falling asleep. Quick way to do that, turn on night shift in the new iOS or use Flux or some other application on your Android phone. But back to Shannon. She takes the challenge, and maybe after a night or two, she clicks I'm done, and again, earns her points, gives us the feedback, and goes through and learns something about how she can change her behaviors to improve her sleep health. Now, in addition to learning your change in behavior, it's very important to be able to know how you're sleeping. So our clinicians use sleep diaries to track sleep. And in the system, we also have a way for Shannon to enter her relevant sleep information. Time to go to bed, what time she got out of bed, and maybe the number of times she got out or was awake during the night, and also how long it took for her to fall asleep. Now, Shannon can do this every day manually, or if she is, like I'm doing, wearing a Fitbit or a Jawbone, she can connect her system, her account, to her wearable device, and it will pull that information across automatically and show her the results in a graph. And it's very important because, of course, it's like G.I. Joe. It's like knowing is half the battle. If you know how you're sleeping and you know what's happening and you're giving that information very quantitatively, then you can take action upon it. So the last part of the system that I want to demonstrate tonight is the shift work. And shift work is really, really hard. I don't know how many people have worked on shifts where they've been on nights and had to transition back to day on the weekend to try to be with your family and then go back to nights. It's a very, very difficult process, and a large part of our population are shift workers. So Shannon is a nurse at a hospital, and she has looked at our shift work and said, okay, I'm going to enter in my shift. I work 4/10s. So 4 days on at night during the week, and then 3 days off. And her shifts start at about 9 p.m. and she works a 10-hour shift. So as she enters this information, all of our clinical knowledge, all the things that our clinicians have been telling their folks for the past 2 decades is made evident for Shannon on this screen. So things like When on her shift should she stop taking caffeine? What to do when she's driving home so she doesn't have her brain be alerted because she's coming home at 7 a.m. when it's the brightest outside light coming through her on her commute home. And then also, as she heads into the weekend, what her sleep pattern should be so she can readjust her body clock as best as possible back to a normal shift so she can enjoy the weekend with her friends. So all that is in the shift work calculator. And maybe the biggest question you want to ask is, well, does this actually work? Does giving cognitive behavior therapy online to people actually make improved results? So I am happy to report that in our corporate trials with MetLife and Hyatt, 4 out of 5 people who started the program and were had symptoms of insomnia, by the end of the program, they were asymptomatic. So absolutely yes, this program works. We're very proud of it. We're very proud of the people that we've helped with it so far. And based on the results, as we go forward, my ask is that if you know of anyone who is in corporate wellness, we're looking for partnerships both in corporate wellness and also in consumer partners to roll this out down the road to consumers. And we're also looking for investors in our second round of financing. And then before I get to questions, that was my ask, so I'm going to do a give too. As I was walking in, I was rightfully and a little bit righteously ashamed by Austin for not participating in the startup community because I've been, as Jeremiah said, heads down in a cave. And it's one of the things I most enjoy about San Diego is being out in the startup community, seeing all these folks out there starting new businesses. I did mine 16 years ago now, and I've done a couple since then. I'm doing one now, so I love it. I'm a startup junkie. I can't help myself. So my give to all you startup guys out there is that if you have any questions, you need some advice, you want to kick some tires on ideas, drop me an email. Hit me on LinkedIn. And I'll try to get out there, try to respond to you, get a coffee, get an email, something to help out and give back to the community. So with that, I'll open up to questions. Yes.
So I frequently have a My Favorite Sleep schedule and like a nap app and stuff like that. How would this work? Like that, or would it just tell me not to?
So napping is a question we get a lot. I think a lot of people likes to sleep, and naps are great. So there are certain times when you should nap, and I'm not our chief medical officer, so I'll try not to, even though I did sleep at a Holiday Inn last night, but you should nap only in 30 minutes to an hour blocks and well before your actual bedtime, so 7 or 8 hours before. Because napping obviously reduces your body's drive to sleep. So if you reduce that drive too much before your actual bedtime, then you'll have a harder time at night going to bed. Yes, back there.
Expanding on that, you looked at it at
So polyphasic sleeping schedules, for those of you who don't know, are sleeping schedules where you do short shifts of sleeping, 3 to 4 hours, and shifts on and then shifts off. I have not looked at it. It just doesn't work for me. I actually got 9 hours of sleep last night, so I can't do it myself. That might be a question that if you could follow up with me, I'll be happy to have you talk to our clinicians about. Thanks. Yes, over there.
based on your research on the sleep, like what is the clinical diagnosis category of sleep is on the common?
Okay, so people are asking a lot of medical questions. I'm the CTO, not the CMO. I'm going to defer that one also to our Chief Medical Officer. Anybody want to ask me what technology stack I used to build this? Ruby on Rails with an Angular front end?
What stack?
Thank you. It is a Ruby on Rails stack, so a shout out to anybody who's at the SD Ruby community. And the front end is Angular. And we're working on a mobile app based on the Ionic framework. Yes, nailed it. Any more questions? All right, great. Thank you very much.
you didn't catch what he said, he is one of the original co-founders for Divots. So if you ever were using CDs or sort of online stuff on your computer back in the day, Tay's one of the ones that built that. So the offer, thank you, Tay. That's amazing. We have resources in San Diego to support you, and it's pretty amazing to get you back in the game. So awesome. Well, you okay over there? That's the guy that's been drinking wine, by the way. Well, now we know. Will you please welcome me in welcoming Scott from Orberg.
As you said, I'm Scott from Orberg. This is my second San Diego startup. Just remember the slide. I'm going to demo real live code, which is the first time at demo night after my 3 that it's been real live code. I'm kind of proud of that. We are in our production environment, and I'm showing you real paying customers' data. You should applaud more for that. Absolutely. We create software, B2B, that connects a shopping experience to the manufacturing process. This is our first product. We call it the Shopping Configurator. It integrates with your existing e-commerce platform, whether that be Shopify, Magento, or BigCommerce, or anything with an API we can talk to. So what we're on right now is a Shopify site that I'm building out for a local company called Etchings Expressions. They etch wine bottles by sandblasting them and painting them in. They're beautiful products. And I'm going to pick the product already here, and I'm going to type something in. Heidi, I'm so glad to have met you. And it's really hard to type at an angle, I'm discovering. But I got it done. So this is JavaScript that's working on the client side. You may or may not have noticed how quick and responsive my text was. We're converting that text into an SVG. SVGs are natively supported inside of HTML5. So this works on all browsers and all mobile phones. And I can take that text and I can play with it a little bit, try to resize it so it fits the box that's been defined for it the best. I can play with a couple colors. Maybe I like the red and pink combo. And there's my product. I can also say, well, wait a second, let's change up the font a little bit. I have a little list of fonts that I can scroll through and see what the different ones look like. Play with my little scrolly again. I like this one the best, add it to my cart. We then take that and make a machine producible file. It's called an SVG file. It's a vector file that any machining software can upload. I'll show you what that looks like. This is our admin portal. This is once again live for a store. This is their open orders that they've not fulfilled. So we're integrating with their Shopify APIs, looking at orders that have not been fulfilled, and tying to that what we call the asset. Now I can download each of these SVGs. I've pre-downloaded one because you never know in demo world how it's going to go. And this is an SVG file made by that configurator that I just showed you. And we also give the shop owner the ability to edit their designs. You can have one product, a wine bottle, with hundreds of different designs on that one product. So this is their WYSIWYG editor to change their layout or update their layout. And what I can do here is say, well, my engraving area is 4 inches high. Let me instead make that 6 inches high. And maybe I want to take my text or my image and move that to the bottom instead of it being on the top. And maybe I want to take my text, make that a little bit taller, and move that up to the top. Save the setting there. Save the setting there. Yes, our usability requires 2 save buttons right now. We're working on that. And now, how many of you work at a startup or a technology company? This is live. I just went to the back end, changed the settings. I'm now going to go to the front end, and I'm going to hit refresh. If it works, which means that image is now on the bottom, you know the response you should give. Okay? Shift, refresh, and that's the response you should give me if it doesn't work. We were working off my...
I can add a payee for this transaction. I'm going to say I paid my friend, say her name's Grace, and I think she did some web design services for me, so I tag it as, say, professional services. And that information is encrypted and backed up. No one sees it other than the end user. And I can do it with any of the transactions, but let's actually do a transaction here. I'm going to go send some money. I'm going to tap the send button. But first, I'm going to go to the web page, and this is actually a real invoice. This is Ramnode. Airbits uses Ramnode for VPS services, and so I'm going to click on this invoice, choose to pay with Bitcoin, click Pay Now, and commonly in Bitcoin, you pay using a QR code. A QR code shows up on the screen. I go to my wallet, tap the Send button, and you get a QR code scanner, real simple. Go to the computer, scan the QR code, I get that $5 amount that I have to pay, and swipe to confirm. And there we go, and off the payment goes. That goes off to the Bitcoin network, onto the blockchain, and the website detects the payment, and I'm done. I didn't have to enter a 16-digit credit card number, put my name, address, phone number, all of that. It was just a scan and go. And then, of course, I can tag the transaction, once again, with who did I pay? All right, I paid Ramnode. I'm going to call this server hosting. That's pretty much what kind of service they offered me. And once again, that information, like a mini QuickBooks, is fully encrypted. Nobody can access it other than the end user, not even us at Airbits. So that's a simple example of how you use our wallet for just a simple transaction using Bitcoin. Credentials. Even I, as a CEO of the company with full access to our servers, can't see anyone's data. But the SDK is also enables just basic Bitcoin send and receive. So people that want to develop an application that can send and receive Bitcoin can use our SDK as well. And it's one of the few security and Bitcoin platforms that's mobile friendly. It works on iOS, Android, Mac, and Linux. And what we're really excited about is the fact that it actually leverages the same authentication credentials that people use to authenticate with Airbits can be leveraged for other applications. So we aim to build a single sign-on experience for private, decentralized blockchain applications. And we're excited to see what other people can do with it. So our ask. Obviously, we have a mobile app. It's a consumer-friendly app after the presentations today or at the after party and get your first free Bitcoin. But more importantly, we'd love to see what developers can develop on this platform. We'd love to see games that incorporate transacting in Bitcoin, or financial applications, or healthcare applications that secure very sensitive medical records, or maybe an application that, say, finds tours for you and you can tip your tourists with Bitcoin, something along those lines. And that's it. Thank you, and happy to take any questions. Jerry. So realize that the question was, can you give one-time access to data? Realize that there is nothing in the world that allows you to give one-time access to data. Once someone can see data, they can always access it if they chose to do so. Someone can screen capture that website. So there's no such thing. And in the same sense with Airbits, you can give them a decryption key, and you can then re-encrypt the data later so they can't access it. But if they have a copy of that data, then they will be able to access it. Absolutely. Of course, if the data is changing, it's always possible to change encryption keys so that future data is encrypted with different information. So that is capacity. It's more complex than the current SDK allows, but it's something we intend to add in the future, is the ability to change encryption so that future data can't be accessed by previous users. Yes?
First question is, what kind of data do you have access to on the users? And the second one is, if there's a dispute on the transaction, is there involvement from you, or is this a merchant versus the
So two questions were, one, what information do we as a company have on the users? I'll answer that first. So I didn't show the process of creating an account on Airbits. Creating an account is just a username, password, and a PIN. There's no email, there's no phone number, there's no address, nothing. That's all it is. So all our servers hold, our servers don't even hold a username and password, they hold a hash of a username and password. So it's a garbled username and a garbled password. So we can't actually derive the plain text password from that. And that's a security feature, because if someone could see our servers and they could see that it was your phone number sitting in this line in the database, and they knew you were holding quite a bit of value in Airbits, then they could try to target and try to brute force that aspect of our database. So by not holding user information, that adds a significant level of to the security. And then the second question was about dispute resolution in transactions in Bitcoin. Bitcoin transactions are irreversible, so once you've sent money, the way you hand over cash to someone, for the most part, it's irreversible. So this can be alleviated with additional technology in Bitcoin that most people aren't aware of, which are things called multi-signature technology, where multiple parties might need to sign a transaction or decide to spend money before it can leave. And so you can bring in a third party that's an arbiter for like an e-commerce transaction, and that's being done today. Yes?
You're not capturing the user data. How do you get users? How do you know who you're doing?
So we don't know who our users are. We do know roughly IP addresses, so where they're located. To us, knowing who exactly our users are is not our business model. Right? That's not what we're trying to accomplish. Now, anyone using our platform, so if you're an app developer and you're using our platform, you need to secure data for your user. It doesn't mean that you can't collect further information for yourself, for your business process, whatever you need to collect in your app, and you can just choose to store whatever is highly sensitive inside of our SDK.
How are you going to reach out to every developer in the world to get them?
So the developers, luckily in our space, are pretty easy to find. In the blockchain space, it's a small world, and so we have 3 of the largest ATM operators in the world, Bitcoin ATM operators using our technology. In addition, a decentralized project called Augur, which has raised about 5 to 6 million in a token sale, and they're enabling a decentralized prediction market. Basically, anybody, anywhere in the world can access a prediction market that enables betting on any outcome. And so we've partnered with them. They're going to be using our platform. Yes? So our SDK natively supports Bitcoin. However, we are partnering with other apps that support other cryptocurrencies. So Augur has their own token and they leverage the Ethereum currency. And so we're securing the keys for other currencies, but we don't natively support others at this point yet. But we can definitely be used by other wallets, other applications that do any kind of digital currency. And technically, it doesn't even have to be a digital currency. It could be things like gift cards. All right, thank you very much, everyone. Party on.
Pretty amazing. And before you leave, I'm going to ask all of our startups that demoed tonight to come on up on stage, join Paul and myself. Pretty incredible stuff being built in San Diego. Everything from checking the way that we vote, all the way down to securing the way that we pay for things with cryptocurrency. So pretty incredible. So we have a special gift for you coming from IBM directly. IBM has decided that they wanted to give you 12 grand, 12,000 bucks worth of their infrastructure. I want to invite Derek up to talk a little bit about that, which is pretty amazing.
Hi guys. So yeah, I am here on behalf of Howard Kidd from IBM Global Entrepreneur Network. He couldn't be here himself. When I met Howard a couple of months ago, he's the community manager for basically the entire initiative for IBM to help and interact with startups. So, and he asked me, is there really even a startup community here in San Diego? And I was like, you need to get down here now. We're having Startup Week, 3,000 entrepreneurs. What are you doing? And he's like, oh, I got to get clearance from the boss. Oh, it's not going to work. So he gave me some awesome sponsorship packages for these guys. But hopefully we get to bring IBM down here thanks to all of your participation in the events for Startup Week. So IBM is a huge company, and they have a very wide portfolio of products and technologies that can be very valuable to startups. They deliver this value through the Global Entrepreneur Program. If you're accepted into this program, you get free cloud services, access to business mentors and technical expertise, and go-to-market support, all at zero cost. You guys can all check out what they have to offer at developers.ibm.com/startups. I didn't see anybody writing that down. Again, free, amazing access to cool stuff for startups at developers.ibm.com/startups. And so what I've got here for you guys today is $12,000 in basically free services that IBM provides. Hello. And this can be used for cloud-based services, access to IBM Watson AI, that might come in handy for some of you guys, and a bunch of other cloud-based platforms that they offer. So thanks to IBM for being able to provide this.
Thanks to IBM. Yes. More importantly than the $12,000, thank you for building cool shit in San Diego. Thank you for sharing that with us. And thank you for being a part of this community. I hope if you saw something tonight I already have people snagging me on the side and saying, what's the name of that one guy? I have an investor that would love his stuff. Or can I be a beta tester for so-and-so? And so if you saw something tonight, please say something, a couple of pieces of housekeeping before we go, and give these guys a huge warm welcome. Not yet, hold it, yep, I got you. Two things. One, Zeke's still dancing, so if you need something over there, go get your parking validated. Number two, we are all going to, and if you've joined us at UCSD for this before, there's a long walk through the woods. We don't really know where we're going to go get beer. It's kind of scary. This is going to be similar to that, but it's a lot prettier. Because we're going to walk right over. If you look straight there, there's a little place called the Top of the Hyatt. If you haven't been there and you've been in San Diego, it's an incredible place. Overlooks all of downtown and the ocean and all that. We're going to do a little after party. No free beer. Sorry, SD Tech founders, OGs. You didn't pay to come, so we're not going to give you beer. It's that simple, right? So come join us over there, after party. If you saw something tonight, please grab one of these guys. Tell them that you're proud of what they built, and tell them what you saw and how you can help. Can we please give one last huge, big, hold on, round of applause for these guys. Thank you. One last thing, tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m., Creative Mornings is going on. I've been asked to give the keynote. I'm really excited about it. The content is really about how do we bridge the gap between the creative world or design world and the startup or tech world. So please join us tomorrow morning right here at 8:30. Thanks again. We'll see you over at the after party.